Before reciting the Srimad Bhagavatam, we offer our respectful obeisance to the personality of Godhead, Narayana, to Narayana Rishi, the supremest human being, and to Mother Saraswati, the goddess of learning, and to Srila Vyasadeva, the art. By regular attendance of the class of the Bhagavatam and by rendering service to the pure devotee, all that is troublesome to the heart is nearly completely destroyed. So this morning, just checking everything okay. This morning we will reading from Canto 1, Chapter 2, Text 21. Vidyate Vidya Shantis Sityante Sarvasamsaya Siyante Sasya Karmani Trista Evatmanishvare. Word for word translation. Vidyate, pierced. Vidya, the heart. Jantihi, knots. Sityanti, cut to pieces. Sarva, all. Samsaya, misgivings. Siyanti, terminated. Cha, and. Asya, his. Karmani, chain of fruitive actions. Driste, having seen. Eva, certainly. Atmani, and to the self. Ishvari, dominating. Translation. Thus the knot in the heart is pierced, and all misgivings are cut to pieces. The chain of fruitive actions is terminated when one sees the self as the master. Purport by His Divine Grace, Abhay Charanavinda Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki. Attaining scientific knowledge of the personality of Godhead means seeing one's own self simultaneously. As far as the identity of the living spirit self is concerned, there are a number of speculations and misgivings. The materialist does not believe in the existence of the spirit self, and empiric philosophers believe in the impersonal feature of the whole spirit without individuality of the living beings. But the transcendentalists affirm that the soul and the supersoul are two different identities, qualitatively one but qualitatively different. There are many other theories, but all these different speculations are at once cleared off as soon as Sri Krishna is realized in truth by the process of Bhakti Yoga. Sri Krishna is like the sun, and the materialistic speculations about the Absolute are like darkness, midnight. As soon as the sun is arisen within one's heart, the darkness of materialistic speculations about the Absolute Truth and the living beings is at once cleared off. In the presence of the sun, the darkness cannot stand, and the relative truths that were hidden within the dense darkness of ignorance becomes clearly manifested by the mercy of Krishna, who is residing in everyone's heart as the Supersoul. In the Bhagavad Gita 10.1, the Lord says that in order to show special favor to his pure devotees, he personally eradicates the sense of darkness of all misgivings by switching on the light of pure knowledge within the heart of a devotee. Therefore, because the personality of Godhead taking charge of illuminating the heart of his devotee, certainly a devotee engaged in his service in transcendental love cannot remain in darkness. He comes to know everything of the absolute and the relative truths. The devotee cannot remain in darkness, and because the devotee is enlightened by the personality of Godhead, its knowledge is certainly perfect. This is not the case for those who speculate on the absolute truth by dint of their limited power of approach. Perfect knowledge is called parampara, or deductive knowledge, coming down from the authority to the submissive oral receiver, which is bona fide by service and surrender. One cannot challenge the authority of the Supreme and know Him also at the same time. He reserves the right of not being exposed to such a challenging spirit of an insignificant spark of the whole, a spark subjected to the control of the illusory energy. The devotees are submissive, and therefore the transcendental knowledge descends from the personality of God to Brahma, and from Brahma to his son and disciples in succession. The process is helped by the super soul within such devotees. That is a perfect way of learning transcendental knowledge. This enlightenment perfectly enables the devotee to distinguish spirit from matter, because the knot of spirit and matter is untied by the Lord. This knot is called ahankar, and it falsely obliges a living being to become identified with matter. As soon as this knot is loosened, therefore all the clouds of doubts are at once cleared off. One sees his master and fully engages himself in the transcendental loving service of the Lord, making a full determination of the chain of fruitive action. In material existence, a living being creates his own chain of fruitive work and enjoys the good and bad effects of those actions life after life. But as soon as he engages himself in the loving service of the Lord, he at once becomes free from the chain of karma. His actions no longer create any reactions. Vidyate deyantis siddhyanti sarvasamsaya syanti sasya karmani presta evat manishvari. Thus the knot in the heart is pierced and all misgivings are cut to pieces. The chain of fruitive actions is terminated when one sees the self as master. Omajnana timandasya chinansana slakam sakshan militam yena tasmai shri gurave namah. Chichitayamanopishtam staptam yena bhutale sramurupakadam yam dadata stati pandikam. Pandiyam siyu dapatakamanam sigam vaisnavam sa siyupam sagachatam saganaragnatam pitam tam sajivam. Satvaitam Savadutam Parichana Saitam Sri Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Padam Sakanalita Shivishakam Hitam Sa E Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jatpate Gopesha Kopka Kanta Radha Kanta Namastate Tapta Kanchna Garangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwe Vrishabhana Devi Pranamama Hari Priya Pancha Kalptabhasha Kripasnabhavasa Patnam Pavanabhyo Vaishnavyo Namo Namah. Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaura Bhaktabhina. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare. Namo Vishnu Krishna Vastaya Bhutale Shrimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Namane Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pacharane Nirvisi Singhabhati Paskachari Prasatari Srila Prabhupada Ki. So this verse starts with Evam. Evam means thus. Thus, it's a conclusion. It refers to what happened before, what was described in the verses before. That this verse is the last verse in a series of verses starting from Sutra Dadhanasya that from verse 16 to 21. It's a description, a full description of the process of devotional service. And in these last verses, the powers and benefits resulting from following this process are described. That there's here in this verse 21, it's mentioned, yes, that different results are mentioned. That so misgivings are cut to pieces. All doubts are erased. Sityante sarva samsaya. All doubts, misunderstandings, they are removed. That, of course, if we follow Krishna's instruction in Bhagavad Gita, we will know what to do and what not to do. But to eradicate all doubts, to have firm faith that the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna, is the absolute truth, that firm faith is established by the process of devotional service. And it starts by following the rules and regulations which are mentioned herein. Susru social dansya vyasdev katarachi. So Shanmatse vyavipra punyatirtane shivata. Two important practices. Hearing with attention, and from the Bhagavatam, from about Krishna, Bhagavad Gita, that and serving the spiritual master. Serving the spiritual master means following his instructions. So in Bhagavad Gita it said what to be done, what not to be done. Then you know what is binding, what is not binding. By that you avoid to become entangled in this material world. And these instructions of Bhagavad Gita are supporting the practice of bhakti, of surrendering to the instructions of Krishna. And then one achieves supreme peace, which has been explained in the previous verse, evam pranasa manaso. But to achieve this supreme peace, one must hear with attention, serve the spiritual master. Then one becomes attracted to hearing of Krishna. Is really the start of spiritual life. Because then that's most important. The desire must be there to serve Krishna. That many times we have desires to please his body, to enjoy. They are stronger than serving Krishna, and that's the problem. But that can be solved by hearing from the spiritual masters, from the lips of a pure devotee, and serve the spiritual master. And then, Shimvatas Vakatar Krishna Punya Shavana Kirtnarity Toya Badani Vidus Not Shuritshitam. Krishna sees that this devotee is sincere, is pleasing his spiritual master, that and trying to make spiritual advancement. So Krishna then decides, I'm going to help the devotee and take away gradually the anarthas. And when anarthas comes, the national love for Krishna is gradually awakened from the heart. But therefore, we must hear daily the Bhagavatam and rendering service to the pure devotee. And then Tato Justamova Kamalabsa Sayasite Siterata Anavtan Sitvesatva Pashidate. Then everything what troubles him to the heart, what's troubling to the heart is a mode of passion and ignorance. It's lust and ignorance. That when that is taken away, our attachment to things in this world stop. And Shelly, Evan Pansamanasha, one becomes peaceful, Bhagavad Bhakti Yogata. And then one becomes really attracted to the devotional service and start to engage in one's then one starts to add love of affection for Krishna. Before it was not possible, the mind, says, I'm too disturbed. And then Bhagavatattva Vishyanam, when one starts to serve with love, one starts to understand Krishna in a scientific way. Scientific means one realizes that scientific means it's proven by experiment. And then the experiment in your heart, you will experience the presence of the Superior Lord. And Mukti Sanghasya Jayate. Then you attain liberation, and then after liberation, or at the moment of liberation, what's happening, that this heart knot which we see on the screen, that this heart knot, this Hridaya Granthis, this heart knot is removed. That what creates this heart knot, that's described in the Bhagavatam, that by King Rishabhadev. King Rishabhadev as very straightforward teachings. He says, Pumsa Sriyamitune Bhavamitam Teomido Radio Kantimau Aturhya Setra Subtaptiviter Yanasya Moram Amameti. Together, the hearts of the male and female, one becomes attracted to his body, home, property, children, relatives, and wealth. In this way, one increases life's illusion and thinks in terms of I and mine. So this thinking of I and mine, that especially the attraction between male and female is mentioned here. And then there comes attachment to children. And then there comes attachment to properties, and you need so many things. That this attachment to family, Queen Kunti speaks about that. Attachment to family. She prays to Lord Krishna, please cut away this attachment to my kinsman. In the purport, Srila Prabhupada writes, yes, one must cut this attachment, thinking this is my family, therefore they are more important than others. No, one must become broad-minded and show affection for all living entities, because they are part and parcels of Krishna. One must broaden one's scope and not create an extended selfishness only for my family. That I've seen how Krishna, in my personal case, has cut the attachment to my family in a very abrupt way. And I didn't want it because I was so attached, but he forced me. And after many years, I must say thank you, Krishna, because they were a real obstacle of the power of my power of devotion, because they were non-devotees, and that's problematic if one becomes attached to non-devotees. So one must understand this point, that this heart knot that becomes removed when we perform pure devotional service, that then it really happens. If devotional service is mixed, it is problematic. And this evening we will study Nectar of Devotion and try to understand more deeply what this pure devotion really means. And we will hear examples, especially from the Bhagavatam and other scriptures, of such pure devotees and why they were were pure devotees. We will get an insight in their inner consciousness, and that will help us to understand what this purity in bhakti, purity of love for Krishna means. That so Vidyante Hridayantis, that it helps to remove this covering, because this knot is really an obstacle. That this knot in the heart, it is said here, that so the knot in the heart binds us to this material world, are like chains to this material world, and that keeps us in this limited perception. I'm the body, and what's good for the body, that's all right. Srila Prabhupada writes in the book, there are so many speculations by religions and these speculations are all in the body concept of life. And one cannot understand something beyond the body concept of life unless one surrenders to a bona fide spiritual master in the Guru Parampara. It's just not possible that Krishna wants us to see, to surrender to his pure devotees. Otherwise, he will never reveal his real nature to anyone. So that's important. That then the Krishna helps to remove this knot, and that starts to be removed, or we become really disentangled when the mode of goodness become prominent in our life. Externally, internally. Internally, one's mind, one must observe one's mind. And if one understands the inner mood of a pure devotee, and then one compares it to one's inner mood, then you know where to correct. You have a standard, and you know where you are. But if we are sincere, we want to make spiritual advancement, Krishna helps us to remove this knot. And once this knot is removed, then Kshiyanti Sarva Karmani. At that moment, Kshiyanti Sarva Karmani, the chain of karma stops. And that's important. We don't make new karma, and the previous karma is destroyed. But when we come at Nishta, steadiness in devotional service, when Anartha Nivritti is nearly finished, then most of this karma is gone. All practice, there may be still some subtle work, very subtle, but practically all karma is eradicated. And then you become free. You become free. That we suffer because of our attachment. We are attached to something, to money, to relations, and the relations change, the money change, and we suffer. But this attachment is due to this knot in the heart. If this knot is gone, then you say yes, that one does not take all these karmic reactions so serious. It's just for the body. The body is temporary. That we should not be attached too much to these things. Every moment we may have to leave this world. We don't know we will there tomorrow. But so if you understand this, then all these attachments, they become futile. That next moment you leave this world, you leave this body, you may take birth on another planet, completely different. That we don't know. It will be completely different, our situation next life, according to our consciousness that we have developed during this lives. And we take birth again if the knot is not untied. So we have to work to untie the knot. Untying the knot when it's untied when you get Nishta. Nishta is a Madhyamadikar platform. Madhyamadikar platform, Srila Prabhupada said, you will not fall down. Madhyam platform, then you don't take birth again. So that is important. And then it removes all that, Sityanti Sarva Samsaya. Removing all doubts means I get faith that the Supreme Personality of Godhead is Krishna, and I have firm faith in his teachings. If you have faith in his teachings, you follow his teachings. You don't want to deviate for a moment from his teachings. So that is firm faith, and faith comes from hearing, but also from the experience in the devotional service. You have Krishna's instructions, you follow his instructions, and you get a result that he predicts. That's proof. Then you get faith. So that is required in our spiritual life, to build up faith. And if the heart is pure, then you start to see things as they are. That when I was last year in Canada, I met one great devotee, and we had a discussion he did some research in the scriptures on this verse that we are discussing today, Tristva Evatmanishvari. Then finally, one sees Atmani, unto the self. Yeah. One sees the self. But in the beginning of the Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada writes that, yes, as far as the identity of the living being is concerned, there are a number of speculations. So attaining scientific knowledge of the personality of Godhead means seeing one's own self simultaneously. So the word simultaneously is used. And so this Tristva, seeing Evatmanishvari, Ishvari, yeah, means one sees the controller. The controller, the Ishvar, is really the super soul. So one sees the super soul, but one sees the super soul, one sees also oneself. That one sees both at the same time. That and Dravida Prabhu, who is one of the main editors of the BBT, and is stationed in California, that he pointed that out to me, that this means the super soul, and one sees oneself at the same time. So that's realization. When you see the super soul every moment, you see that the super soul controls everything. That we get reactions to our karma, the super soul gives these reactions. So one sees that also in others, how they get their reactions. That But the devotee is in knowledge. He said, yes, this is because of my past misdeeds. He understands the situation. But if one comes to that level, that the knot of attachment is burned, is untied, then one sees things as they are, and there is no karma anymore. It stops. That, and then one sees the super soul and hears the dictations of the super soul. That's explained in Bhagavad Gita in 6-7 of the Bhagavad Gita. There it is said that Chitatmana Prasantasma, Chitatmana Prasantasma. So if from the moment one controls the mind, then one becomes peaceful. And that's the same as in the previous verses. The influence of the mode of passion and ignorance goes away, and then evam pranasa manasa, one becomes peaceful. And then paramatma samaita, then one comes in direct contact with the super soul. Direct contact. Then the veil of karma is removed. And that is most, when one has this realization, to feel Krishna in the heart every moment, and hear his instructions, his directions, then life becomes every moment ecstatic. And there are no doubts anymore. It's like someone, we have Google search machine. You want to know something, you type and you get all information. But Google is not it is not God. That you can get a lot of disinformation through Google search. Yes, but when you are in contact with the Supreme Lord directly, then you have access to all knowledge. So these are the benefits of attainment of perfection in pure devotional service. No karma anymore, no doubts anymore, pure faith, and seeing Krishna in your heart directly. Thank you very much. Are there any questions, please? There are no questions, then I look forward to have you this evening online for the third chapter of Nectar of Devotion. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna. Jai Prabhupada.
Hare Krishna Maharaj. Thank you.
Hare